Alright. What is up, everyone? Multi-Apples here bringing another video. Let me make sure I can go live on Twitch and Kick. Alright, I'm live on Twitch and Kick, so let's go ahead and get started. I am playing some MotoGP 06. Let's go ahead and qualify for the first race. Let me also make sure I can actually just bear with me, hold on. I want to edit the settings on Twitch and Kick really quick, so I have to get my... I'm using my iPad, or not my iPad, why did I say iPad? I'm using my laptop, but for some reason, on some occasions after a while, it just stops working the touchpad. So, bear with me. And yeah. So... yeah, I'm playing some MotoGP 06, by the way. Bear with me. Hold on. So I know where I stand, at least in qualifying, because I actually haven't qualified just yet. So... controls are slightly different than what I'm used to. So... settings... So yeah, I'm not very good at MotoGP 06. Probably gonna get a penalty, a high penalty for each lap, so... let me take a look at the control settings, actually. X is the brake, okay. Okay. Ooh, turned too early there, so I'm gonna get definitely a high penalty for this lap. Shoot. Sometimes I do need a break, and other times I need to slow, just use my momentum to turn. Here I need a break. I think I may have hit the brakes too early. There, so. I'm better at the newer MotoGP games than I am at the older ones. So we are in section 3 of the race. That's good. I broke too late on that one. That is probably going to be the most difficult section of the race for me. The corner right there. Or the turn right there, I should say. Let's see. My main issue is the turns, actually. I wish we could actually turn off the penalties, though. That is the only thing I dislike about this game right now. Qualifying is going to be a bit tough for me, so... At least getting the best lap. Because I know in MotoGP, it's kind of like Formula 1 and NASCAR, where you start on the grid. It's very beneficial to you if you can get the fastest qualifying time or close to the fastest. Whereas the further back you are when you start, the more difficult it is for you to come back and actually win. So, not that it's out of the realm of possibility to start last and actually get into and win the race. It's just going to be more difficult. That was a bit difficult, so... It's really about knowing when to hit the brakes to slow down and when to actually start turning, in my opinion. Took my eyes off the road for one too many seconds, so... We moved up to 9th, which is good. I have time for 1 or 2 more laps after this lap in the qualifying session before we actually go do the real race. Just because there's a little over 3 minutes left. So I'm probably not going to beat my personal best this lap, so... Yeah. I'm not going to beat my personal best this lap. I messed up too many times. Started off strong, but then I ended kind of weak there, so... Shoot. I'm not entirely sure I'll beat my personal best for this lap as well. We'll see. I really can't afford to mess up. I really wish we could turn off the penalties until I feel more confident in my driving, so... And we're definitely not going to set it this lap now, because one thing I hate is when I feel is a tad unfair is that they start you off on the side if you fall off your bike, which is understandable, but then they immediately start giving a penalty. So, and we're not going to beat it this lap now. I think that's unfair in my opinion. Like, I can understand when I fall off, or when I don't fall off, I can get a penalty, but like if I were to mess up there and get onto the grass, and not fall off, I can understand that being a penalty. But to fall off and then get back on the bike and then just to be penalized, I'm already being penalized enough by falling off of it and wasting time to get back on. So, but you know what? Ninth place ain't bad because there are gonna be 11 people behind us and only 8 people ahead of us. So we have more people behind us than we do ahead of us. So I messed up there. So doubt I'm gonna beat it this lap as well, but I'm gonna try. This is the area I usually mess up now. Yeah, not gonna beat it this lap. At least we weren't penalized there. We're on the third and final section. Really, I played this game once before and I've done the full race. I'm really only concerned about the penalties during qualifying. Yeah, we had too much. I think had we not fallen off, that would have been maybe a new personal best. So ninth place isn't bad in my opinion. To start off with. I think I may need a few more races before I continue the career mode to get better at this game. Outside of the career mode before I continue it. This is actually the career mode. This is the third race. It's in Turkey. I've never been to Turkey. I'd like to go though. I have been to Europe. I've been to Belgium, the Netherlands, um, England, Spain, Gibraltar, and France, and Italy, and the Vatican City. So, and Monaco as well. Although Gibraltar's not really a country, it's a territory. It is an overseas territory to the UK. So, and England is a part of the UK. So. 23 laps. And we're gonna... no, we're not gonna fall there. Now I'm not too concerned about the fastest lap. I'm just more concerned about finishing ahead of everyone else, so... Fell from second to, we went from 9th to 2nd to now 7th. I guess 6th now. Back to 7th. So yeah, that's always a bit fun, so... At least to pass other people. I'm really only concerned about the fastest lap when it comes to qualifying. If it's practice or an official race, it really does not matter to me. Yeah, it's Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. Thanksgiving is in 2 days. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving, what do you do for Thanksgiving? If you celebrate. I know not everyone in the world celebrates Thanksgiving, so... It's more, at least in America, because I know in America there is we have Thanksgiving. I think Canada may as well, but in Canada it's a different date. I think. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct, but I know for sure it's Thanksgiving. There's an American holiday called Thanksgiving, so it's usually the last or 4th November, or there's only one November of the year. So it's usually the 4th or last November. Again, it's either the 4th or last Thursday of November. So that's what I meant to say, not the 4th or last November of the year. There's really only one November a year. Shoot. Okay, I have to stop crashing now. I'm gonna be losing my position. I'm in 3rd. 4th. Okay. 6th. 7th. 8th. I can get back into 1st. I need to drive better, but I can get back into 1st, so... I love MotoGP, it's just usually not... I don't know when it's usually on, actually, if I'm being honest. Okay, bumping into the other riders actually helped me there. So... And note to self, don't drive in the, on the grass or dirt. Trying to keep an eye on chat, but right now only one bot has really showed up, at least on Kick and Stream Elements, which is a bot, but it's the it's the kind of bot I use, just to promote social media, in my live chats on Twitch and YouTube. So I'm okay with like Nightbot and Twitch because a lot of streamers use them to promote messages or stuff like that. So, or social media. So, just the random names and numbers, or random letters and numbers. Promoting that randomly go into other streamers' chat. That is annoying, in my opinion. I'm okay with streamers promoting using a Nightbot, stuff like Nightbot and Stream Elements in their own chat to promote whatever they want, as long as it's like legal and within the rules of the site. But as long as it's within a reason, like they're not promoting anything immoral, I should say, or bad. Like if you're streaming on YouTube and you want to promote your Twitter or your TikTok, be more than and you want to promote it on your own YouTube live chat, be my guest. So I know Stream Elements has been working the past couple of days whenever I premiere a video on YouTube. Not sure why. I'm not that knowledgeable like when it comes to computer stuff, so it's very frustrating to me if something doesn't work and I don't know why. So this is really anyone's race in my opinion, because I keep going into first and then I keep crashing and falling as low as 8th. And I work my way back into first and then I crash and fall as low as 8th, so a little too early there. Hopefully I don't mess up on the last lap, but I want to at least on these final couple of turns get them perfectly by the time we're on 23rd lap. Hold on, let me mute my mic. Okay. Not shoot. Minimized my OBS screen so I can't see chat or if I'm actually streaming. Alright, sorry about that. To get back on track, literally and then metaphorically, get my driving under control. So we are in second place and not far from actually lapping the person in 19th and 20th as well. So we're not far from first as well. Second place ain't bad if you ask me. First is much better. Turned way too early there. Slow down, get my motorcycle under control. If I actually had the time, I'd like to watch MotoGP. I like to watch Formula One if I had the time as well. I watch soccer and basketball and baseball, but wrestling as well, professional wrestling. Get off the dirt as soon as possible, so. You know, as a wrestling fan, the thing that's nice as a wrestling fan is that it's year round, but I kind of feel bad for the employees, whether they be the wrestlers, the referees, the commentators, or, you know, the ring crew, or, anyone working, especially for a big promotion like AEW, AEW or WWE, because they are constantly touring and, they don't get a whole lot of time off, so they're constantly traveling. So in that sense, they've earned my respect, especially, regardless of, the role they play in the company. So, to be constantly on the road isn't easy, so I admire them for that, so. I also admire the wrestlers for also putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment, because the matches are scripted and it's predetermined. They're still putting themselves at risk for injury. They're kind in a sense they're like stuntmen. I admire stuntmen in movies that or people that regardless the actors that do their own stunts or the stuntmen, because they're putting their lives at risk for our entertainment. So, sure a lot of it's. I'm sure there's a lot. Obviously, there are a lot of cases of CGI now, and there are proper procedures in risk, proper procedures in place in like Hollywood to actually for stuntmen, but still, it's still a risk, and so I respect them because they're doing it for our entertainment. So, or it's still a risk there. It's like in a sense, like for like professional drivers, like whether you're in the professional cyclists or NASCAR or Formula One or MotoGP or rally driving, whatever kind of driving it is, or or cycling, there's still a danger, and people have actually died, and when it oh man, I really need to get better at this. So like when it comes to racing, whether it be cycling or actually using cars, I definitely admire them for that, because it's for our, yes, they're trying to win a race, but at the same time it's for our entertainment as well. So, and there have been deaths involved related to professional wrestling, you know and heck, even like any combat sports, it's for our entertainment, but they're also trying to win, so they have my respect as well. Anyway, a little too fast there, so I need to slow down on the turns. So that's why I'm losing control of the cars. So not the car, the mic, or not the mic, the bike, motorcycle. So yeah. It's like AMA Supercrossing or motocross, or the MXGP drivers as well. It'd be cool to attend a professional race, because like I've attended a Tour de France uh, when I was in France a couple of years ago. Shoot, we fell. So when I was in France a couple of years ago, actually, we were staying at, I think, in Paris. It wasn't, maybe not, but we were going in Paris one day. It was like where the final race, or they were it was like where the Tour de France cyclists which were actually riding past. So we intentionally went to see where a couple of Tour de France riders came by. And one thing I didn't notice until I attended, or where I saw them in person, is that they go by TV. It's kind of misleading because they don't go as you think when you're watching it on TV. They don't go fast, or as fast as you think they are. Especially for cyclists, with the distance they cover, but they go incredibly fast. They go definitely. They went faster than I thought. So I'm not, one to. I'm definitely not one to actually have been to a lot of. I think that's the only time I went to a competitive cycling race or competitive cycling event at any level. So definitely those professional cyclists deserve to get paid more than they actually do, I think. Even the top ones, even the highest paid ones, they deserve to get paid more than they actually do. So like any professional driver or cyclist. Not sure if I know cyclist is like official proper, but I'm not sure if you call that like driving. But in terms of competition, I consider it the same, even though it's not like motorized. So let me mute my mic real quick. All right, I'm back. Yeah. So I'm not. Maybe it's the cameras, but like even in NASCAR and Formula One and NASCAR, they actually, and I haven't seen MotoGP on TV that much. So, but they don't look. I'm sure they go faster than they look, but maybe it's like the cameras as well. Cameras, the they use, and the quality of the cameramen, the camera operators, cameramen and camerawomen, make them go slower than they actually are. So you know, IndyCar as well would be cool to see. It would kind of be like cool, interesting to see, like for like a competitive cyclist. Well, I guess maybe not due to the inherent dangers of it, but like maybe like I was gonna say a runner, and then a those ultra runners, a cyclist, and then compare them to different types of cars like Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, stuff like that, and these different kinds of bikes and ATVs. It would be interesting to see, you know, if you give them like a certain, put them on a certain course or give them like a certain distance, you know, it'd be interesting to see who would, finish first, which would finish. I'm pretty sure the runner would finish last, and then the cyclist would be next last. But it'd be interesting to see, these types of motorized vehicles, these different types of motorized bikes and motorcycles and Indy cars and Formula One and NASCAR and, you know, just cars, just to see, if you put them in like a certain course or a certain, give them like a certain type, and even the rally cars, give them a certain type of course or distance, or time. It'd be interesting to see who would win. I'd imagine different cars are built differently. Heck, I know there's even competitive, truck racing. So be interesting to see like different types of vehicles go against one another, and to see who would which vehicle would win, and how good the drivers are, and or how you'd even compare it, for it to be in like a fair race. Because I know different vehicles are like built for obviously different purposes. Like a standard car for the average driver, you wouldn't really. And this is where my lack of car knowledge and vehicle knowledge is coming in. But you wouldn't expect that to go like. You wouldn't expect that to at least use that for like off-road or racing or anything like that. I guess. I don't know too much about cars, so, or any kind of vehicles. And I play a lot of racing games, but I don't know anything about, like if you were to, like I play a lot of MotoGP, but if you'd like to ask me, or like in a lot of F1, I just know like Lewis Hamilton is tied for the most F1 World Championships, and Max Verstappen is the most recent winner at the end of last season. But if you'd ask me like what makes the car go, fast, I know it'd be like the engine, but if you'd ask me like for the strategy, or like how to tune a car, or the strategy each team uses, I wouldn't know anything about that. Same goes for MotoGP, or Monster Energy Supercross video games, or the Monster Energy Supercross races. If you were to ask me any about the strategies they use for the bikes and the properly tune the bikes, I don't know. I'd be lost. I'm the first one to admit I know nothing about that. So I do know how to drive. I'm a licensed driver since at least early October of this year. So like I knew how to, at least for the car I have, I know how to put gas in it and to drive. But if you like to ask me to like tune it to make it go fast in like a race, which I wouldn't, but I wouldn't know how to. But all I know is just I just it's best just to obey all driving laws. So not mess with the car, not make any changes to it that aren't necessary. Going too fast there. So now, as long as it works and it's not, gets me from point A to point B and doesn't hurt myself or anyone. You know, I'm good when it comes to the cars or my driving. So I don't do any damage, of course, to any or break any laws, of course. Not that I'd intentionally break any laws or anything like that, but anyway. So yeah, if you're a big MotoGP fan, like what are the strategies used to win a MotoGP race? And like who right now is at least in the 2024 season, who are like the best MotoGP riders and why are they the best as well? Because I don't know anything about, MotoGP or the strategy to win other than to finish in first and not have like any penalties or commit any penalties. I've always, in terms of penalties, I've obviously failed that already. So I'm curious about the strategy for like Formula One as well and NASCAR. I'd imagine the parts that make up the car have to be at least for Formula One. I know at least for like drag and drag reduction or something like that has to be at least enough aerodynamic. I'm just talking out of my butt right now. At least there has to be something to help the car go faster, in addition to like the brakes and the pedals, and like slipstring and stuff like that. But then again, I'm just talking out of my ass right now, so. Okay, third place ain't bad, but I want to win. After Thanksgiving, the next holiday is Christmas here in the U.S. And that's New Year's Day, Eve, New Year's Day. So that'd be like Valentine's Day is the next widely celebrated holiday, and then Memorial Day, which is in May, and then it'd be the 4th of July, which is the 4th of July. So, and then Labor Day, or it'd actually be June. You have Juneteenth, then the 4th of July, then Labor Day, then Indigenous Peoples Day. So. Hold on. Sorry about that. I got some drinks with me. I got some Jones Cream Soda. Yeah, it's been a while since I had Jones Cream Soda. Really good. It's probably my favorite type of cream soda. And then I have some Splash Refresher Wild Berry. Jones Cream Soda as well. Got the Jones Cream Soda from Kroger earlier today. Went out for a walk and ran some errands. Yeah, so went for the walk. Went for a walk in the park, and to Kroger, and where else did I go? I went to maybe one other place, but I can't remember now. Oh, I'm gonna crash. Shoot. Surprisingly, I didn't. Oh, I went to the dry cleaners as well. That's where I went. I don't remember, so. It's bad that I'm getting forgetful. Oh, man. Alright, I went first, so hopefully we can grow our lead. Landry's in second. But you know, this is probably, I have several MotoGP games. This is probably the most frustrating for me. Just because of the penalty and the braking system, and driving is different from the rest, so. But I still like it. Frustrating, but fun. I don't necessarily mind frustrating, but if it's like done in a fun way. And this is frustrating, but it's done in a fun way. For me, especially when it comes to sports games. Now, the pitching for the 2K games in MLB 2K is frustrating, but not in a fun way. Whether it be the classic or the total control. And then hitting is actually frustrating but fun. Because with hitting, you just gotta learn. You just gotta recognize the types of pitches, and you know if they're gonna be inside the zone or outside the zone, and you gotta work on timing as well. I forgot the placement of the pitches and the timing. I think the golf games tend to be frustrating for me because I tend to do horrible in those. And like they tend to use the joysticks to actually hit. You know, you tend to use the joysticks to use the golf club to swing, and you know I'm just terrible when it comes to using joysticks for controlling the golf club. And really any sports game when it comes to like hand-eye coordination, Like in terms of, using a bat or a club for like to hit something. I'm terrible at that. So like the MLB 2K games or the any golf game, I tend to struggle when it comes to like hitting and pitching when you use it. But now if it's like the placement, I now if it's like oh gosh, I'm gonna crash here. Because it's like in the golf games for the clubs, it's you have to worry about how hard you're gonna hit the club, how hard you're gonna hit the ball, but you also have to worry about the movement to make sure it stays in bounds. You know, so I know for MotoGP at least, I have this on the Xbox 360, and to actually use the pedals for gas, to drive is A, and to brake is X. But in the after that, the earliest MotoGP game I have is MotoGP 18 on the Xbox One, and those starting with MotoGP 18 or MotoGP 17 or MotoGP 15, one of those. To drive is like to use the RT, and to brake is LT, and I'm more used to using RT and LT for gas and braking in any racing game, not A and X. It's currently 3:30. Second place is more than 8 seconds behind us, but I'm driving pretty awfully now, and they're gaining on us actually. I think the MotoGP games and the F1 games have made me enjoy. I'm sure if I were to just watch MotoGP and F1, I probably wouldn't have been as big a fan as I would be without playing the video games. So if I had the time, I'd definitely watch the MotoGP races, and I would watch the F1 races as well. And because MotoGP, I didn't really find it's not that popular here in the U.S. It's not like the biggest racing sport here. And F1 is growing in the United States. It's gaining popularity. It's in terms of sports that are watching. I'd say it's probably the second most popular sport that's gaining popularity. Because like American football, basketball, baseball, and hockey are like the four major sports in the U.S. And then soccer's gained popularity in the last 10 to 15 years. That's like the biggest growing sport in terms of fan base in the U.S. And in terms of the second, it'd probably be F1. In terms of sports and leagues that are gaining popularity. Rugby's been growing. I'd say that's probably third. Here in the U.S. So Probably a bit. I'd probably say more rugby league than rugby union. I know there's a slight difference between each sport. It's kind of like there's a slight difference between Canadian football and American football. There's a small difference, but there's a difference. So now, in terms of sports participation, in terms of like people actually playing sports, whether recreationally or competitively, I'd say soccer has probably always been number one in terms of sports that are gaining popularity, and then rugby would probably be number two. I know competitive, F1 racing is kind of difficult to get into. I'd like to see Australian rules football gain popularity. I just have like the AFL like have games outside of Australia, at least regular season games like the NFL does. Yeah, for American football, because the NFL has recently had, I know in the past couple of years they've had games in like Germany and Brazil, and they've had games in like the in Canada, regular season games in Canada and Mexico as well, and every year they have like a game in at Wembley Stadium, a game or two. So it would be cool, and it would be cool to see baseball gain popularity in countries that where it's not really popular. So baseball is probably my favorite sport to watch. Soccer's second, and then basketball. Watch. I follow the NBA, but I don't really sit down and watch the NBA. The When I watch basketball, it's usually college basketball, and it's university basketball. If you're what we call college in the United States, the rest of the world will call university. So um, the Olympics are actually big, but that usually comes around every 4 years. I'd say the Summer Olympics is more popular in the U.S. than the winter. So I know the Olympics were earlier this year, back in June, July, and they were in France. And right. Yeah, I was talking about sports. So the Canadian Football League has had teams based in the U.S. and they played games in the U.S. I think that they've even produced a Grey Cup champion in the U.S., the Baltimore Stallions, which are the only team based in the U.S. to win the Grey Cup. Would be cool to see Canadian football getting popularity in the U.S. Like get more viewers here in the U.S. Maybe like have a team or two in the U.S. Because it's like I'd imagine it's like the Canadian Football League tried to expand into the U.S., which really isn't a bad idea with the popularity of American football both Canadian football and American football being similar sports. It's just, I don't know why. It just didn't work out. So, but I think they just expanded too fast, too soon. So it's a lot like maybe if they were to do it again, just maybe like start off with one or two teams in like cities where they don't have any professional American football teams in the NFL or the United Football League, which is kind of like isn't as popular as the NFL, and it's professional, but it's like spring and summer football. So maybe like pull out, our commissioner would be looking to expand into the United States. I would actually maybe like have like a team in Portland would be a good idea. Because Portland doesn't have a team. Because like a lot of people will watch spring football and like the UFL during the regular season, and indoor football as well, which is its own version of American football. It's its own distinct sport. So like maybe like put a team in Portland and like have games broadcast like on ESPN and ABC. For certain Portland doesn't have a team in the NFL and they don't have a team in the UFL. And the NFL is the most popular league for American football, so maybe like Portland, San Jose. I know San Jose doesn't have a team. I'd argue maybe not for St. Louis since St. Louis has a team in the UFL. Had the UFL not been in St. Louis, like have a team in St. Louis, I'd argue put in St. Louis. Since they didn't really, since they lost an NFL team, but no, don't go to St. Louis. Maybe like definitely Portland and maybe San Jose. Trying to think of where else. No, not Orlando. Not Memphis. Not Nashville, because Nashville's home to the Tennessee Titans. I'm trying to think of places big cities that don't have, American football teams either in the UFL, because the UFL season will run more or less along the same, for at least about half of the Canadian football season, Canadian Football League season. So Portland and San Jose are like the two. Are like the two cities. I just realized that in Posit. Let's see. Not LA because they have the Rams and Chargers. Not San Diego. Yeah. Yeah, San Diego, depending on how close that is. San Diego and Oakland, depending on how close, you know, they are to San Jose as well and San Diego. Those four, I'll look into those four. Not like all four at the same time, but not Memphis, not Phoenix because of the Arizona Cardinals. On. All right, so So that cost us first place. Wish there was a rewind button. So like if they were to go into a city that has like an NFL team, yeah, then maybe I can see the argument for that. But like definitely like avoid maybe like Memphis, St. Louis, and Birmingham for sure, and Orlando. But you know, I'd go for like cities that don't have an NFL team or United Football League team. So yeah, not Detroit, not Kansas City, not Nashville, Memphis, Denver, or Kansas City. So we won in Qatar. We I don't know if that's in Spain or Mexico, but we finished in 12th there. And in Istanbul, we finished in 8th. So workshop. So customize. Still quick race. I feel like I can win. I just need more practice. So yeah. See where else. I would avoid Miami, New Orleans, and Atlanta. Oh, I was about to say Charlotte, but then again, Charlotte has the Panthers. Let's restart the race. Um, Not New York, not Chicago, not Indianapolis. No, I could see them going to Columbus because that's another big city that doesn't have a football team. Let's see where else. Just Columbus, San Jose, San Diego, and Oakland. Be like the main cities. You'd avoid Orlando because they would be playing. The Orlando team would be playing more or less the same time as UFL team. San Antonio has a UFL team that'd be playing more or less at the same time, so there'd be kind of be sharing viewers. So Houston and Dallas, it'd be kind of hard to argue during the you know summer month at least. Because like you'd get like the problem with the NFL, you're sharing this team with the NFL teams is at least August through November you're sharing your viewer base with the NFL teams, whereas with the UFL teams in the you're sharing your viewer base with the NFL teams, August through November, and with the UFL teams you're kind of sharing your viewer base up until at least maybe July from when your season starts as well. So that's the main issue. So like San Diego, I would say Oakland. Actually, at first I'd say, but that's relatively close to. That's like across the river from San Francisco. So, and the 49ers are a good team now. So you kind of should be sharing, you know, your views with the 49ers in these August through November, and not everyone will actually have enough money to go to tickets to both teams, especially if you want it to be profitable. So maybe not. And depending on how close like San Jose is to, you know, San Francisco and, you know, San Diego. So, and then Portland, I'd imagine that's, maybe like an hour or two away from Seattle. So it's like, it'd be much easier to see a Canadian Football League game than to drive to another state. So Salt Lake City, I probably, if they don't have a UFL team, I actually don't remember. Okay, I'm not gonna win this race now. Hold on. If Salt Lake does not have an United Football League team, I'd say go expand to Salt Lake City for sure. I'm racing horribly now. I'd avoid Austin because that's, not that far away from Dallas, I'd imagine. Maybe like half an hour to an hour. So the Cowboys tend to be very popular in Dallas. So not Detroit as well. Not Chicago. Not Arlington, because that's a suburb of Dallas, actually. I know because I've been. Not New Orleans, because, not Birmingham, Alabama. That's not a big city, but for some reason there's a team there. Um, I'd imagine maybe some of the smaller markets, actually, if they're looking to at least break even. Maybe like Jackson, Mississippi. Or, Wyoming, Arkansas. Columbus, depending on how far away it is from like Cleveland and Cincinnati. I know that's a relative. That's like the third most populous city in Ohio. So maybe like Kansas, if they're looking into smaller markets to break even. At the very least, if you want to get a profit, I wouldn't go advise going to those states. Like Oklahoma. Actually, yeah, Oklahoma. If the Thunder can be profitable, I'd imagine Oklahoma because they have Oklahoma City. So like a not Jackson or not Jackson, Mississippi. So like maybe avoid like Mississippi, North Dakota, um, Arkansas, Wyoming. For like a big, if you're like the Canadian Football League, but so maybe Oklahoma City for sure, or Tulsa, one or the other, and Columbus, depending on how far away it is from Cleveland and Cincinnati, and not Denver, Portland, and Salt Lake City. Hey Leslie Wilson, how are you? I'm good, thanks for asking. And Lucia, we Select the track, or either select track. So Harris is in Spain. I'm from the US. What about you, Leslie? Let's actually do Brno. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I know it's in the Czech Republic. Excuse me for burping. But yeah, I'm from the US. Alright, can I win in the Czech Republic? That's the question. New York, nice. I like New York. I've been to New York once, but that was about 7 years ago. I went to here in Arkansas. It is cold now. I'm from the state of Arkansas, so it's cold. It's very hot, you know, in the summer, but now it's November, it's starting to get cold. It's starting to get cold, so. To New York during the summer for about a week. It was like in 2017, and I loved it there in New York. To New York City, actually, and a couple of the boroughs. Not all 5 of them, but don't remember which ones. I know I went to Harlem, but I know I went to. Pretty sure I went to. Uh, I'm new on Kick, but not new overall because I've streamed on YouTube for about a couple of years, and then I've streamed on and off Twitch as well. What about you, Leslie? I went to Manhattan as well. Manhattan and Harlem are like 2 of the boroughs I remember going to. I went to the Statue of Liberty, which I didn't know until after I left, but the Statue of Liberty is not actually. It's close to New York, but it's like it's in New Jersey actually. So that was my first time going to New Jersey as well. New York. Okay, I'm not gonna win this. I've been. At least I used to stream on YouTube from like 20. At least regularly from 2020 to 2023. And then I've been streaming on and off from Twitch since like 2018 and started at least this month with Kick. I'm pretty sure within the past week or 2 on Kick. No thank you, Leslie. I'm not, if it's about, you know, making like a logo, and stuff like that, I'm not interested. But thank you for the offer. I'm definitely crashing way too much, so. I'm gonna keep an eye on chat as well and also respond to the comments in chat as well. I'm not, Leslie. Thanks for the offer though, but I'm not. Anyway, to talk about. So, yeah, I'm not gonna win now. I fell from like 3rd to like 16th, so. For that week in New York. Gosh, I can't believe it's been 7 years. It was like summer of 2017 I went. Yeah, 2017. Or 2018. 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. Oh shoot, I don't know why I just randomly stopped there, but I did. Dang it. I'll try again on a different course. It's safe to say I'm not going to win here. I've messed up too many times. Especially on such a short race. So. If it's like a full race, I could still come back from this, but 3 laps, no. Places I'd like to go to next. Too many. So I finished in 16th, too many crashes there, so. Unlocked Prague, so. Oh yeah, I can actually change the. Ooh, excuse me, difficulty and the race link. Then I just chose the race at, this map again. Oh well. Actually, I'd like to go to the. I guess it's no longer called the Czech Republic. They changed their name to Czechia. Be a tough habit to stop saying Czech Republic. I know North Macedonia changed their name from Macedonia to North Macedonia, so that's also going to be tough to remind myself to say North Macedonia. I'm referring to the North Macedonia instead of Macedonia. I don't think if there are any countries that also changed their name. like East Timor or Timor-Leste. I'm not sure if that happened within my lifetime. Pretty sure it did. I'm not sure which country it goes by now, but I don't think of what other countries changed their names. So, and I'm not talking about like countries that gained their independence. Let's see, since 1995. So, I think for me to win on a 3-lap race, I really can't afford to mess up as well. Don't think there are any in I was gonna say the US, but no. The ones I know for sure are. Oh yes, there's Swaziland changed their name from Swaziland to Eswatini. I'm always curious because I know, not really entirely sure why Swaziland changed their name to Eswatini. I have an idea, but don't know if it's true. I know Greece and North Macedonia there's some dispute over the name Macedonia, and it was resolved recently, peacefully, thankfully. And Eswatini changed the name peacefully, and then Czechia, from the Czech Republic to Czechia, also was all three were done like peacefully, but I definitely don't know why the Czech Republic changed the name to Czechia. So it's gonna be getting into the habits though. No, the Democratic Republic of Congo changed the name from Zaire to the Democratic Republic of Congo, but I'm not entirely sure when that happened. No, definitely was in the last 60 years, so. So, like, I know South Sudan gained independence in my lifetime in 2011. Remember, I was 16 when they gained independence. And, I think Timor-Leste as well also gained independence, I think in 2002. And then I was born around the time the Yugoslav wars were unfortunately going on. It's unfortunate that war happened. And the issues weren't. It's unfortunate that people died and the issues weren't resolved peacefully. Now, the breakup of the Soviet Union happened shortly before I was born, like less than. It was like completed like less than 4 years before I was born, because I was born in February 1995, and the breakup of the Soviet Union was finalized in December of 1991. Ah, dang it, if I didn't crash, I could have actually. What else are there? No, Bougainville is supposed to gain independence in like 2027. It's currently a part of, I think, Papua New Guinea or New Caledonia in that area. So it should be interesting to see if and when it happens, because there was a vote and they voted for independence. So it'd be cool to see. Be interesting to see, I should say. Hopefully, if it's done peacefully, then it'd be cool. So I need to charge my. I am probably not going to do a full race. So I'm probably gonna hop off here, y'all, and just take it easy. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.